Good afternoon. My name's Isaac Horrell. I'm presenting Team 1's use case 4 presentation, and our company is Patagonia. So first we have our root cause analysis with our problem statement at top. Our problem statement is going to encapsulate the general focus of this project and what question we're seeking to answer with our 4 prescriptive and predictive analyses questions. So the problem statement is Patagonia reported 200,119 metric tons of CO2 emissions in 2023, with over 95% originating from its supply chain practices. And this 5 why analysis here is just a series of why questions that drills down into the deeper reasoning behind why something happened. So why was there 200,000 tons of CO2 emissions? It's because the majority of the clothing industry's global carbon emissions happen during production and processing. Why is that the case? It's because Patagonia seeks to limit dependence on raw materials and reduce carbon emissions. Why do they seek to do that? Because their Worn Wear program repairs consumers' pre-loved clothing. Why does the Worn Wear program repair clothing? Because the climate crisis requires initiatives taken on a business and consumer level. And why does the climate crisis call for these types of solutions? It's because production and logistics depend heavily on fossil fuel energy and non-renewable inputs. And the root causes behind this is Patagonia is moving towards 100% renewable and recycled raw materials, and the fashion industry is one of the largest contributors to pollution and carbon emissions. As we can see, as we mentioned earlier, the root cause analysis is based off of Patagonia's recycling mission. And as this graphic shows, 99% of Patagonia's styles in their 2025 fall line integrate recycled material inputs such as fabrics and trims. So right here we've got our fishbone diagram that is addressing the main problem statement in Patagonia's Worn Wear program and supply chain practices, and that is they need to reduce the environmental impact of clothing, and they need to extend the clothing and product life cycle to eliminate waste in landfills. We have 2 predictive analyses and 2 prescriptive analyses that pair with those predictive ones. The first 2 predictive are rapidly growing consumer interest in recycled clothing and incentives for customers making sustainable choices. And as you can see, we have the 5 whys analysis for each of our predictive analysis questions that drill down into the deeper reason behind these questions that we're asking. And so the drill down for the first predictive is consumers are becoming more environmentally conscious, and that is because of increased attention on climate change and sustainability practices. There's an increased attention on this because of record levels of media coverage on natural disasters and other social attention surrounding it. So much attention is being paid because of fast fashion and higher frequency of disasters. And because textile waste contributes to landfills, being a part of this would cheapen Patagonia's brand. And our 5 why analysis for our second predictive is we want to encourage participation in Worn Wear. We want to do that to align consumer and company sustainability goals, because we want to reduce carbon footprint for customers and the business, because we want to keep clothing circular, saving both customers and the company money, and because it will result in more clothing being repaired and recycled. And I'm sure this has been observed by now, but the general idea behind the 5 why analysis is just they connect to each other one after the next, each answering the previous one's why question, like explaining why we are doing something. Like 1, this is why; 2, that's why we do it. And we have 2 prescriptive analyses that pair with our predictive ones: inventory and demand forecasting and sustainable material sourcing optimization. These are prescriptive, so they're really more looking to answer what should be done about what we think will happen in the predictives. So for inventory and demand forecasting, we were going to collect sales data, seasonal demand trends, and Because of this, we're going to use algorithms to prescribe limited first runs rather than mass overproduction. Inventory is replenished only if data shows strong demand. Any leftover items are identified early and redirected into resale, repair, or recycling. And by producing less, adjusting supply dynamically, and recirculating unsold goods, Patagonia can minimize waste. And all those things are just relating to the why behind the inventory and demand. And our last prescriptive analysis that is going to pair with this one right here is sustainable material sourcing optimization. Clothing and textile industries over-reliance on environmentally straining materials such as cotton, denim, things of the like, environmental risk at sourcing and production sites, selection of sustainable suppliers with low-impact materials, utilize transportation strategies that can minimize carbon emissions, and this will result in optimized supply chain and minimal carbon footprint. And here we have a summary of this fishbone diagram. These 4 predictive and prescriptive have been sorted into independent causes, and we have their corresponding dependent effects that arise as a result. So rapidly growing consumer interest in recycled clothing and incentives for customers making sustainable choices. These are predictive. Yes, they're predictive. And the effect that they're going to have is Patagonia's material costs would be lower due to a higher use of recycled materials, which are cheaper. And more clothing is recycled and repaired, making Patagonia's business model more circular. And then our prescriptive causes, sustainable material sourcing optimization, and inventory and demand forecasting. We can see their effects being optimized supply chain and a reduced environmental footprint, and reduced overproduction and waste, ensuring resources are used efficiently, and slightly minimizing the environmental impact of their supply chain practices.